as Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Benin Republic, South Africa, and Lesotho. As part of the story, but it was Nkwanzi, unmarked at the near post, rose high to head home, with Uzo left very stranded. Well, the Eagles would tie things up in the 67th minute when West Brom defender Semi Ajayi connected to Kelechi Iheanacho's well-taken corner kick, and the game ended 1 in front of a half-packed fans in Uyo, not until they were stunned by Leslie Not. Never really got going, as Awoniyi had some belters that he missed, maybe 1 or 2. Basically, Victor has gone missing, and that was the story. Well, up next for Nigeria in the qualifying series is a trip to Rwanda, where they take on Zimbabwe, and it's a conversation this afternoon. Well, yes, Blind, it's good. These are the days where we actually talk about how things going in this country. I'd like to get your thoughts holistically. First of all, what do you make of the game? What did you make of the game yesterday?
Well, I think it was a fascinating game for me, but quite a game on the other hand, but disappointing. Couldn't beat the Crocodiles of Lesotho. Didn't make sense from that angle. It was an easy game. I expected them to win it, never won it. Pairing with the Nigerian team couldn't get the ball quicker moving forward to unsettle the Crocodiles of Lesotho, and that was the conversation. Alex Iwobi, it's been a while. Yesterday I spoke with Ritwe regarding it. We talked about Alex Iwobi playing in Fulham now, not playing more of a central midfield, now attacking. Drops to play that position. Concerns could come in it, and it could be the requirement, but basically what it was, that was where I faulted the coach. First half, you saw it. I could understand from the coaching point of view. He's bidding his time and think, okay, no problem. Maybe we get 1 goal after Kelechi Iheanacho struck that beautiful free kick. But at the end of it, it was always going to come because the Lesotho side were growing confidence. Afterwards, 1 goal and it settles it.
Right, well, UT, the post-match press conference yesterday, Pesero talked about the fact that in the first half, the boys played with their head. In the second half, they played with your heart. And it's now a conversation of commitment. Right, so how much was boys yesterday? Because over time, club sides and play for the national team comparatively and all of that. Talk to us about the level of commitment and if it was low yesterday and if it affected the performance and the result of the game yesterday.
I think to a large extent it affected the performance of the Super Eagles now of players basically because said but they couldn't do it. Tawoni missing a seether at the Victor Boniface also missing chances. And these are players who can't even miss their chances for their respective football clubs. Heading into the international break, we saw these players scoring goals for their respective club sides. So what happens when they play for the national team? It has been a major concern every now and then. Particularly, you see them missing these chances where we're playing competitive matches and not necessarily friendly games. And you ask yourself questions. Are they the same collective club side with the national team?
Did they miss these chances because they were not committed to the national team?
Well, I do not think so. Fly all the distance and just walk about with the national team. I do not think so. When I watch the game, here's the biggest problem, Mari. I agree with the coach. First half they were playing with their head. The question is how. Here's how it happened. And now when you look at the game of football, having Alex Iwobi in the middle and this one in the middle,
Frank Onyeka. We'll talk about the personal conversations.
I'm going there.
The psychological aspect of the game.
I'm going there because it adds up to this conversation.
Right.
Here's how it is now. When you look at the first game, the first half they were quite cautious. Because the transition wasn't there. Here's where the problem is. Someone who's blocking the game. If the attackers are moving forward quite confident, they know that when there's a rebound, the midfield is solid to stop it by.
Yeah.
But you had lots of the attackers trying to go forward and trying to go backward, and the game wasn't moving quick. And you couldn't see them run so fast. And the difference came the moment Simon Moses came in. Here's why. Because Ademola Lookman, quick feet, yes, doesn't know how to trunk the ball in immediately. So he's trying to hold on to the ball and move. But even more, take more risks. That's it. So for me, second half, they were taking more risks compared to the
attack. And it was just Alex Iwobi and Frank Onyeka most parts of the game in the middle of the pack. How did that affect the result of the game yesterday and the transition from the the midfield to the attack?
I think we lack stability in that game, basically, because you can expect the man Franco Onyeka to do all the defensive work, trying to cover up those spaces basically for the defenders. And then you talk about Joe Aribo. He's been in an advanced role now, basically. So if you have only Joe Aribo going forward, and then Alex Iwobi rather going forward, and of course only Franco Onyeka also trying to control the ball and taking it a lot more forward, you understand the fact that whenever there is a break-up play, you do not have anybody covering those spaces for you. And I think basically he would have started two defensive midfielders. That's what I think in the game, particularly Frank Onyedike and Frank Onyeka rather, that plays for Brentford. It would have been two defensive midfielders to cover those grounds for them. And particularly we have one creative midfielder going forward. It would have made the game a lot more balanced and bring some level of stability to the midfield.
Lighten the attack.
That's the problem for me.
The attackers, when we saw the lineup, we had high hopes because we're looking at Victor Boniface scoring goals for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. He is one very talented player. Could dribble, has got pace, can score goals. Tara Winiyi, he's experienced at the national team level, and we see his strides at Nottingham Forest so far. Kelechi Iheanacho has been with the national team, and he is the team's creator-in-chief, if you like to add it that way. They want to look, well, he's still fit at the national team level. Maybe the only grey area at the lineup yesterday, but they did not just Moses Simon came in.
Yeah, basically, I wouldn't want to fault the attackers apart from the missed chances. They couldn't convert. Quite disappointing for a player of that standard. But sometimes these things happen in the game of football. Yeah. But guess why I always talk about a transition. And I would have loved yesterday, had he been our coach, I would have started Oloaina. But I never understood. He never thought it was going to happen that way. And that's why I love some very technical coaches. When you make a mistake, you watch a game and see it's not hard.
Correct it
irrespective
of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you concede the goal before
minutes.
you start correcting those mistakes.
Yeah.
And that was around, go to the net to score. But it couldn't allow them to go forward the way they ought to go forward, because there's this thing here. To the coach play, probably could have been a better offer if he used Oloaina in the process.
This is a result, UT, but we can change this on Sunday when they take on Zimbabwe. Yeah. What are the changes expected from Pesero on Sunday? Well, from personnel speaking and tactically speaking as well.
Well, from the back line, I expect to see Oloaina at the expense of what's his name now, Sai Samuel. And I'm also expecting, I saw Jamilu Collins yesterday, quite a decent performance, but we're talking about a man who has been out of the national team assignment due to injury for his club side. And basically, I expected to see another man there and not change on the left flank. And then you've talked about one of the grey areas we had yesterday, and that's Ademola Lookman. I expect to see him on the bench. And of course, the man Moses Simon starting at the expense of him moving forward. I mean, these are a couple of changes that can actually affect the game for Nigeria. Right. And I'm also expecting to see two defensive midfielders in that game and then one creative midfielder up front going forward. He can actually provide some level of stability to the citizens of Nigeria. With these changes, we can actually get results.
I want to take calls right now, but there's this question in my mind to ask. I know I don't think it's really a thing, but I would love to ask because of the fans listening. I know that there are several football fans that think that this question should be asked, and it's the fact that whether or not Nigeria missed Osimhen yesterday.
Well, definitely the misses. The CAF list is out. A player who's in the top 10 of the CAF list now. Yeah. Caught to 10 now. Top player, we know the energy that Osimhen brings. It creates lots of distraction to the defense line. Opponent is already scared about Osimhen. But here's it, Mari. Whether Osimhen is there or not, Osimhen was against Ghana. was available against Ghana when we played against Ghana. World Cup qualifiers last time out against Ghana towards the World Cup. Yeah. Nigeria couldn't beat Ghana. That's the conversation. So what were the problem, fundamental issues we've talked about? And now I'm looking at this game now, second leg against Zimbabwe, Mari. The fact is this now, I hear Taiwo Winnie won't be part of that game. He's already left back to his club, Nottingham Forest, because of a groin injury in that match. And that's a concern now. Good opportunity for the OGC Nice player now. We're talking about Terry Murphy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a good addition to that team now. You know why? Because he tries to drop deep to help the midfield and move forward going forward. So we need a total team performance, not just depending on individual player. Victor Boniface has to step up even further. His first game, I did appreciate his performance in that first.
Things change against Zimbabwe, and I think this result is not going to raise eyebrows as if we beat Zimbabwe on Sunday. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. Let's take your calls in. Your reactions to the game last night and what you want to see change on Sunday against Zimbabwe. Who would you want to see starting Sunday, and what are you expecting from these results? Do you think that we can qualify for the World Cup? There's a stat I saw yesterday. I give it to UT. I told UT that yes, since 1990 has once. So no panic, chill out. Let's get the calls in 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. I'm also streaming live on Facebook at the Planet Radio 101 FM official Facebook page. Go there, drop your comments there. Afternoon. All the stories as we take calls in, well, we hear that have begun promotion chase. You're in the Nigerian National League. They take on one of the newest football clubs in Nigeria, 1472 Football Club, and it starts. You'll give you details of the game later tomorrow. And we hear from these ends that Salisu Yusuf has been appointed as the advisor to the Technical Committee of Rivers United. Yusuf appointment was announced today. He's 6'1", and he's going to work with Stanley Eguma and other members of the Technical Committee. The veteran tactician has managed a number of clubs: Nasarawa United, Kano Pillars, Eyimba, and Rangers in the past. Remember, he led Kano Pillars to the MPFL title in 2018, and he won the Federations Cup with Eyimba in 2013. Fatasho left, and they've brought in Salisu Yusuf as an advisor. There's something about that position that is helping Rivers United, Blyden.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating position, United, and I think every team should have it and should have someone decent to take that role. Give some good advice, because sometimes what the coach can say can be limited, but on the other hand, between the board and the coach also, advising the club, advising the coaches, basically a good position. Remember that thing that they say, what an older person sits to see a small person can just stand saying. Maybe it could be applicable in this case.
That's a conversation from here. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. Well, the CAF Awards, the CAF Men's Player of the Year Award nominees for the men has been cut to 10. It's a beautiful story. Victor Osimhen makes the final list. But let's look at the top 10 players right now in Africa. Riyad Mahrez. No, Victor Osimhen. Starting with Victor Osimhen of Nigeria. Riyad Mahrez of Algeria. Frank Anguissa of Cameroon. Vincent Abubakar of Cameroon. Mohamed Salah of Egypt. Ashraf of Morocco. Sofiane Amrabat makes the list. Morocco. Yassine Bono, Morocco. Youssef El-Nasri, Morocco. And Mane, Senegal. Well, UT
sparks question mark regarding whether or not he will win the award, because we've actually seen over time where cases of other players who merited the award who couldn't win it. The other day, I think, was talking to Blyden about Mikolabi, also making statement about the 2013 award that he would have won it at the expense of Yaya Toure. So these, but if you look at the realistic achievement Victor Osimhen did in the season under review, he deserves that award, which I think he will.
That's a conversation.
Mark, I have already seen the top three for me, and let me give a prediction to it. Victor Osimhen number 1, Mohamed Salah number 2, and Achraf Hakimi number 3.
No Riyad Mahrez.
No Riyad Mahrez. For what now, Murray? Come on.
What a treble. All right, so that's a conversation for you. Let's look at the World Cup qualifiers from Africa, and the other games went down yesterday. Botswana losing to Mozambique 3-2, Burundi defeating Gambia 3-2, Algeria defeating Somalia 3-1, Egypt defeated Djibouti 6 goals to 0. Well, I hope Blyden all is well. Nigeria played 1-1 against Lesotho, Sudan 1-1 against Togo, Cape Verde playing goalless against Angola. 090222310 0817-624-8565. Good afternoon. Victor.
Hello, good afternoon, the Marazuna.
Yeah, Victor, welcome. I saw you at the stadium yesterday.
Yeah, I was so happy to see you. Marazuna, I'm happy that the match that really played yesterday, you were there live and view what has happened and what we were supposed to have expected. You see, the 3 players who play football on the first the number 9 working in that active, because you see the chances that have been created outside and that's front, but not players who came to the surprises of Nigeria are supposed to know the kind of players invited. But I want to get ØAkwa to try to have 3 points. That's my position.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Well, we are back on the other line. Thank God. Thanks to IT as well. Yes.
Yeah, this is Magnet calling from you.
Magnet, how far now?
I did. See, there is this.
Welcome. This is what we call today.
Concerning that yesterday game, I said that Nigeria was strong against the Lesotho. Nigeria players talk too much. If they want to have a match, just calm down, get the training and play your game. Let people comment to you. Not even very quick. Start going to the match, just start talking anyhow. And let me just shock in Arizona. Zimbabwe will beat Nigeria. And it goes to one thing, and just one thing, you know what, one goal. Take it to the bank.
All right. Thank you very much, Magnet, for talking to us. Before the show ends, the banks will close. Alright, so we'll take a few calls now. In one of Mikel Obi's
Ayeti David.
welcome.
I am a Facebook person from Abba.
Go ahead.
I want to say that I was not here.
All right. It looks like you have to call us back. Can you hear us? Yes. Go ahead then. Please call us back. Please call us back. Network is bad. Top Ghana, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mari, High Chief, and Mari, look, Nigeria overhyped their players. Nigeria is never just of Africa any longer. Nigeria is just a cupboard. The glory has departed. I'm sorry for that language. Whoever that employ Hotel Pichero, Mari, he doesn't wish Nigeria good. Let that be a major cleanup. Both the Babu and all of them should go. Goalkeeper trainer. Afraid play well. Yeah, I know. Let that be clean up.
All right.
Can you bring a defender instead of a striker? What is Joe Aribo doing? They have no import. Most of the time, ought to go in early and marry. In fact, I don't even though they qualify work or marry, they will get. I'm telling you the truth.
All right.
From Sunday 4 p.m., ØAkwa Ibom State tackle with Remo Stars, another assist coach for the coach. ØAkwa Ibom is fumbling boys. This match may determine his fate. For Heartland, Welcome to Education. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Top Gunner. It was the BBO for me. Hello, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Larry.
Yeah. All
I
right.
want to say I was not very happy with the size of yesterday.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. All right.
A lot about something I don't think we speak a lot about.
Right, network is a little stubborn. We're trying to see. Michael, you have to talk to us, please.
It's not your money. You have all this real from Africa, and this is something we speak a lot about. When you make money, it's not your money. You have all these relatives, cousins, whatever you call it.
You didn't know.
You know, and your sisters, they go off and they get married to some guy, you know, who just wants to get married to John Obi Mikel's family, because then my life is sorted. And then you this guy, before you know it, exactly. There's so many kids, and you're looking at, okay, you're having this much kids, who's going to look after them? It's you.
And the culture that they expect you to do that.
For them, you owe them that. So you sometimes you have to be strong and say, you know what, guys, enough is enough. I don't care. They give you this thing whereby, if you don't do it, we're going to go to the press.
Oh, wow.
Man,
What? Did you have them conversations?
Yeah. What? Done for you guys. But this happens a lot. In Africa, I'm telling you, not everybody. You come from Africa, and this is something I don't know.
All right, Joe, what, the long and short of it is that once you become a star footballer, your family, your brother, your sister, your brother's husband, your sister's wife, whatever it is I'm saying, your brother's wife, and your sister's husband, your family's family, the ones you know, the ones you don't know, the ones related to you by blood and not by blood, would rely on you for money. And this is what he's saying. And Mikel Obi is even saying that if you try to stubborn, resist them, they'll threaten you by saying, I'm going to go to the media, the press. I tell you the truth, this is a thing. I have a friend who is playing an academy in Slovenia. He is feeding his father. Right. I understand the fact that this morning in football.
He's not supposed to feed his father.
They just.
Let me come from a different angle. I do not think the word lazy is the word. Mary, I do not think it's
Client.
yeah, everyone wants to leverage, and not because they are lazy. They want to leverage having hard currency that's coming. About footballers alone, it's typically about having someone in the family who's shining, who's big.
Yeah.
And definitely, it's like a whole tree. So the rest of the branches begin to depend on you. Because, come on.
Why does he get it? Have to come back to Nigeria to fix some court case with his sister's husband.
Well, Mary Victor Siemens case, we're not so sure of what it is. They were part of that deal. That's a conversation. It's a court case. I wouldn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It has different angles to it.
Obviously.
But definitely your friends will rely on you. Come on. $100 isn't too much, Mary.
Is that what you're looking for? Well, it's quite
Like
funny.
it says, $100
They don't want to take everything. But I understand the pressure. It's high level.
It's a big pressure. It's a big pressure. And most times with these demands, basically, you tend to see the footballers finish their careers and then
5 years later, they are broke.
They're broke. And then you'll be asking questions.
I do
All
not
of this money,
do not
where did
agree
they keep it?
that makes them broke. No, I do
Come
not agree.
on. We're talking about extended
How do we fix the culture of over-reliance to the extent of blackmail?
That is not acceptable. Blackmail is not acceptable. No, there's no way.
But
What
it's
I'm saying
something we're seeing right here in Africa.
what I'm saying is this. I am concerned, especially when people begin to think they can leverage on you, especially at all costs. The people that want to leverage on you at all costs. Let me use that word now. But on the other hand, I think also players could plan even better because you can't help it, Mari. Look at you now. I know. You went to your village and people were celebrating a big superstar coming back home.
They were billing me. I suffered.
So come on.
I bought drinks.
First problem is the economy.
Yeah.
First problem is the economy because people are doing well. They won't be depending on a superstar. That's it. That's the basic truth. And for crying out loud, you know what? You know how much. Look at the present economy.
What if this guy never made it to the top? Are they not going to still find themselves and eat and just be okay?
Without the guy that's still finding a way. Better. Probably that.
I think it's quite normal for that at this perspective because B. Kalobi said something. Once you're famous, to
Because
feed on you.
Absolutely.
It also tells you the burden and how large this overdependency is on one person.
Mikel is saying that this guy is coming, married from a family, and they keep having kids. And you ask them, what's the of these kids? And then they'll not call you one day and say,
that's too much.
Hello, Mikel, or hello, UT, or hello, Blyden. Junior school fees.
Or probably they tell you we're having another child dedication. That's the one I don't get. Having plenty of kids and doing child dedication all the time. What's the meaning of that?
That's a scary, ladies and gentlemen.
Look how far we come now.
The long and short of it is in this life, have money. 011 0817 624.
Like, I don't understand whether that game is football or what. Those guys, they kind of hope in there and fought at everything, both the coaches and the players. They did not live up.
Yeah, we'll do that. Just chill, we'll do that. We're in it. I just say you won't bill me, sir. It's a thing. Even us here, the fact that our voices are heard on a daily basis on radio, we get billings. I tell you the truth that it's not easy. I actually pray for God to bless us. We make money because sometimes I feel very bad that I cannot meet these billings. Right, that's the thing. Well, we hope for a better future, as a matter of fact.
We have to open an account for billings.
Yeah,
So
this one is for billing.
This is for billings.
Basically, but first match up.
It's constant.
Like match up first. How have we turned this show into something very funny? What's happening today? Right, let's go to the series this afternoon quickly. Mikel Arteta, Arsenal manager, has been charged by the Football Association for comments made after their 1-0 defeat by Newcastle. Arteta, who is 41, called the VAR's decision to allow Newcastle's goal embarrassing and a disgrace. He's been fined. He's been charged, rather, and he has until Tuesday next week to respond to the charge. Well, we know that the circumstances surrounding the goal was controversial. But Arteta calling the VAR a disgrace and embarrassing, don't you think was a little too far?
It wasn't too far for me, for saying the truth. I think the VAR this season has been totally embarrassing. But I also understand the premise at which the sanctions have been given on Mikel Arteta. Maybe quite unprofessional that he made that statement in the media space. But basically, you should also look at it from the other angle, because that particular incident cost Arsenal a point, and basically maybe he was saying those statements on the basis of being angry. But if you talk about speaking or saying it that way to the media space, I think it wasn't unprofessional for me. The man was absolutely saying the truth.
Like
and he deserves to say the truth.
Here's a statement credited to the FA. It's alleged that his comments constitute misconduct as they are insulting towards match officials and or detrimental to the game and or bring the game into disrepute.
I think basically what they're doing is trying to cushion the effect, because we had a Arteta come out saying this thing is a disgrace. I do not agree with the choice of word. Yes, exactly. Embarrassing could have been okay. Disappointing. There are many words to say in that regard, but I understand he was quite angry.
And we also hear that the FA is looking to sanction more coaches that insult officials going forward.
They should do the best.
But it's a two-edged sword, Mari. It's a two-edged sword. Here's
Absolutely.
why. While you're trying to control this, but this what you're doing, you're also keeping people quiet, not having a voice to correct where things are wrong. For me, they should look at it and weigh at it too. The same way you're charging these coaches, also charge the referees too, if you need a balanced situation. Because you hear a referee just demoted to championship, and the next week he's returned. And he's doing the same thing. A repeat case, especially in this particular case, Mari. The head of the referees organization, VAR, came out to say, in that particular game, the calls were wrong. It beats my imagination.
No, crazy story. Still talking the Premier League, it moves from one bursary to one worse one. Everton have received an immediate 10 points deduction after being found to have breached the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules. The punishment is the biggest sporting sanction in the competition's history and leaves Everton 19th in the table on a new total of 4 points. The club said it was shocked and disappointed by the wholly disproportionate and unjust ruling. Everton have said they will appeal against the decision. Now, the Premier League referred Everton to an independent commission in March, but did not reveal the specifics of the club's alleged breach. Everton posted financial losses for the fifth successive year in March after reporting £44.7 million deficit in the 2021-22 season. Premier League clubs are permitted to lose £105 million over a course of 3 years, and Everton admitted to being in breach of that rule ending in 2021, because we hear that their losses amounted to £124.5 million, more than what Premier League
profits.
Yeah. And they had,
and in 3 years, 250
exactly, and they had reported a deficit of just £44.7 million. As a matter of fact, well, lots of numbers there, but it's a case of what they presented to the Premier League is not actually what was going on inside.
No, so, even beyond that, it's a case of their losses. Yeah. Because when you look at it, Premier League and financial fair play has always been about if you're spending money, you have to also sell.
Make profit,
Make profit.
Make lots of money. And we see in the last 3 years, Everton was spending money, not getting
too much money,
not getting good equally. Yeah. They spend money, they were battling relegation, spend money, battling relegation. No. And according to my sources, Maria, that they are now £250 million in losses, more than what a cap should be for a Premier League club in 3 years.
Wow.
And the consequence is, for every 5 million, you're deducted 1 point. And cumulatively, Everton should have been deducted 60 points. That's the conversation. So that's been fair for him, for Everton on 10 points. But he brings further conversation. Manchester City this season, early this year, there were conversations about Manchester City being charged for 115 count charges. We've not seen the outcome yet, but this could be a pointer to it. And we've also talked about Chelsea. And I hear that if they are to be deducted points, they could just go to relegation. Chelsea and Manchester City.
Blind wait first, I beg. Right. But let's talk about Everton. Still talking about Everton. Now, do you think that all of this, Fahad Moshiri, their owner, saw this coming before wanting to sell 94% stake of the club?
No, I think so. Probably
because he wanted to transfer the agony to the next owners.
Absolutely, I think so. It's been a conversation about that sales, and it never really happened afterward. It was so close to happening.
Yeah, almost close to happening next month. It was set to complete next month. Right.
It could just stall everything now.
Yeah, well, Everton are now 19th in the table with 4 points after getting 10 points off themselves. It's a crazy story.
I think they can still survive relegation. That's right. They've been in super form this particular season. You look at the relegation table, those in the bottom line, you're talking about Luton being just out of it, about 6 points.
Yeah, Sheffield United 5 points. Now Everton 4 points.
So you see, with the form I'm seeing Everton this season, can they sustain it? I think they can still survive.
Time's going to tell. More international stories. Colombia, we told you, defeated Brazil 2-1. Argentina UT for the first time since that Saudi Arabia lost at the World Cup. Match day 1. They lost yesterday to Uruguay, 2 goals. Lionel Messi, elbowing somebody.
I saw what he did at the Casemiro there.
And of course,
but he wasn't sanctioned.
Came out to say players should learn to respect the elders, and took me back to the Netherlands-Argentina game when he scored. He went straight to the front of Louis van Gaal.
These are one of the reasons why Louis van Gaal about premeditated.
Let's talk about the game.
He can't push it away from the game.
That's it.
Probably because it's Lionel Messi.
That's it. No.
I have no prejudice. I have no prejudice against for Lionel Messi. Rather,
he would have been punished for that act alone.
Right.
Mario, we know publicly you don't. Don't worry.
No, I don't.
I'm not saying
that's the truth. Basically, that's the truth.
No, I don't. Let's talk about the game. Argentina losing. This is the first loss since the World Cup.
I think the effect is solely on Marcelo Bielsa. Recall the former national team, gaffer. I think back in September, same Uruguay defeated Brazil, still in the qualifying stages. So it shows you the impact and the effect Marcelo Bielsa has brought to Uruguay. And of course, it has also changed the entire way they approach games, basically going forward. And yesterday's victory once again signaled the effectiveness of Marcelo Bielsa in that Uruguayan squad. It looks quite interesting to see that he's also trying to change the fortunes of Uruguay, and basically they can actually be a force to reckon with. So an impressive win for them as well.
A sad story for the Madrid fans. Eduardo Camavinga suffered a knee ligaments problem whilst on international duty, and is set to be out for a while. And he was training, with his French teammate when he sustained that injury, colliding with former Barca
Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah, now PSG man Ousmane Dembele. That's a fact. But sometimes it's a little unfair to talk about Messi when I talk about Ronaldo. So let's talk about Ronaldo. The man scored yesterday a world record 128 international goal for Portugal as a beat Liechtenstein in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Let me hear anybody say it's Liechtenstein. Nobody's saying it, all right? Nobody's saying it. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, my name is Umo, coming from Uyo.
Welcome, Umo.
Yeah, I was at the stadium yesterday, and I must say, we can't blame the coach in this case for some of the misses from our boys, especially the one by Tawa Oni. And then I noticed it's a big problem because looking at the match or watching the match from the stadium, you could see our attackers making runs, but the midfielders were unable to play the ball quickly to them. And our wingers did not play any cross all through the first half until Moses Simon came in, and you can see that's where we got our goal.
Yeah. So
it was really a big problem because we didn't have one cross from the wingers. That's from Lukman and I think Kelechi Iheanacho.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one other issue I think the Nigerian Football Federation needs to look at, and even the Uyo stadium management, is the crowd control. I actually paid for the VIP, but as the time I got to the gate was pushed open by the crowd. So I think
it wasn't pushed open by the crowd. The state governor, at some point, had declared that football fans should go in and watch the game.
Okay, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't pushed open by the crowd.
I've noticed at a point the security personnel would not be able to control the crowd at the gate. So I think it's something that the stadium management they need to work on.
All right, thank you.
But maybe I'll come back again to talk about other issues.
Thank you very much for being a part of the show this afternoon. Check out Facebook for us and the live feed. Let's look at the ØAkwa Ibom State Governor Cup. The final Group B matches going down today. One has gone down already, and now congratulations to Ona local government area. They've qualified for the quarterfinals of the competition, while Urwan is out of the competition. Sad stuff for IT, and sad stuff for us because we're here to run, and it's a story. Well, Ona defeated to run by goal today to book a place, while Uran are officially out. Well, there's a change of venue. The announcement: the Obodokara versus Ibom State game has now been shifted. The game is now going to take place at the practice pitch of the Nest of Champions the same time by 4 p.m. So take notes. Don't go to the Uyo Township Stadium. It's at the practice pitch of the ØAkwa Ibom International Stadium. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Mary. Good afternoon, Gladian, and my brother there, my best analyst.
All right.
I'm happy to hear from you. It's Brian calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, Brian. It's been a while.
Yeah. Please, I want to know the kind of soup Nigeria player here that day to go and play that game.
I don't know. I wasn't in the camp. I don't know the soup.
For them.
I don't know what the soup.
I don't know why people are saying they are disappointed. So the people there, the opponent, they came there to just come and sit down and watch Nigeria to come and be scoring them. They were also looking for a point for goals to win the match. And it was a laughable thing for me. Their coach was saying he was disappointed not winning the match. I said, can you imagine that? He said he was disappointed not winning Nigeria. Please, the next match, I don't want anybody to go and bet Nigeria will win. Let them bet for draw. For Mikel Obi, please, what he's saying is true. When you have money, all your family members keep depending on you. Why is it like that? What if you don't have money? Please, he should enjoy his money alone and remain there and change his phone number.
Well, thank you very much. What a way to end it. Thank you very much, John. Same. Good afternoon. Mr. Easy on the line. Do we have you? All right, call us back if you can. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Marizuna. Ifyok Domingo calling from
Welcome, Ifyok.
Marizuna, I don't know why sad things are happening these days. It was Nigeria yesterday. Nigeria played 1-1 with Lesotho. It was very bad. When you look at the World Cup qualifier group of Nigeria, which man picking within which is Nigeria that will qualify with other teams. But, the performance that is telling us that Nigeria has a long way to go. But now, Holland is officially out of the Governor's Cup.
Yeah, Ifyok.
It's very sad. It's very sad. Very well, it's a good game. We played very well at least. After the light of Bahrain in every sector, could not even.
Ifyok, let's be guided. Let's not say things that attracts problems to ourselves this afternoon. Let's be guided.
It's fine, my brother. It's fine. If you cannot play up to this round, this turn, you play it next turn. If you don't want coaches to react, do the right thing. There is no way you will push a coach to the wall and you will not react unnecessarily. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Ifyok, for talking to us. Tell us on the line for the second time.
Hello, Mary.
Yes.
Can you do me a favor?
No bill meal. You need waiting.
It happens everywhere. People notice that you have been famous, your family members. They'll be like, these are my friends, big and small. Maybe we just depend on them. Understand? So they should, all this is making those people to much impression on them. It's not necessary. Understand? Be doing your own thing. I think.
To put smile on our faces. Upon say we get too many forwards, we know they move forward. Joseph Suberu says there are 3 ways to look at the game yesterday. 1, it is still a long journey to qualification. Let's not panic. 2, the team dominated the game, just couldn't score, which hasn't been the case in recent games. So let's relax. Thirdly, the Super Eagles team has been winning away in Africa more than at home in the last 4 years. Check the records. I think because most of them are still new, they're always under pressure at home. So guys, let's relax. We'll make the World Cup. That's it for now.
All right, thank you very much for talking to us. Right, so initially it was a story that Kevin De Bruyne had assisted Drake. You know, Drake dropped a new album, and in one of the writers of the album, we saw Kevin De Bruyne there. His name, but we're hearing that it's not actually the Man City Kevin De Bruyne, right? So this man can play football, but I don't think he can write music that much. Good afternoon, welcome to the show. Lucky last caller, Mr. Easy on the line.
Good afternoon, sport analyst.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm so disappointed with the Super Eagle. Why I'm saying so is that Lesotho is not the name to mention in the African Cup of Nations. This is the guys that we should have given them 5-0 at Uyo. Then when we went to their home, what would Lesotho guys do to us? And I'm so disappointed with Jose Pesero and his boys.
Right.
And let me also advise him to fish out a better player. If you like, let him come to Kwa United and try at home base. Let's leave all those foreign guys who don't have something to offer the Super Eagles. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. As we bounce here, the 17th World Cup continues. So the games today, Brazil 2-1, Iran defeated New Caledonia 5-0, Poland lost to Argentina 4-0, and Senegal lost to Japan 2-0. That's it for the show. Thank you, Blind, for being a part of the show.
Always a pleasure. Good that it wasn't about Uzoho this time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, UT. If you sure let that go, maybe Boma will sign you.
The rest of it.
Well, my name is Marizana, ladies and gentlemen. I see you tomorrow, 7:30. Talks right now with the news on the hour. Tell you about tennis new album. The other things happening basically. Well, for me, it's about that combination, Teddy, Burna Boy.